Whoa. Sing. Whoa. Whoa. Y'all know this part. This y'all favorite part of the song. Jiggity whoa. What up? What up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Zone864TV. I'm your host, Zone. If you're watching this live or recorded, please do yourself a favor and do a nice black man a favor. Do a nice so-called black man a favor. Hit that like button. And if you are not subscribed and you are watching from the clouds, hit that subscribe button if you want to. You don't have to, but it's much appreciated if you do. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh, zone outside. Yeah, I'm outside. I'll be in real life. I'm not one of these cats that be hiding behind a keyboard and a computer screen all gosh darn day long. Are you kidding me? Huh? What's today? Monday? Today's Monday? Couple days before Christmas. Couple days before Christmas. I hope everybody that celebrates Christmas or whatever you celebrate, because you know we have so many different versions of things. I hope you guys have a wonderful holiday season. I hope that you get to spend time with your families. I hope that you get to enjoy your badass children. And I also hope that you guys can hear me well as well. Yeah, man. So I'm on for a few minutes this morning. I might be on here for the next 5 minutes. I might be on here for the next 30 minutes. I could be on here for the next hour. Could be on here for the next hour. Yeah, man. So I had to bring my whip in. Had to bring my whip into the tire shop this morning. So while that's being done, I'm taking a stroll around the block. You know, while that's being done, you know, I have a habit. When I leave out the house, when I leave out the house, I always have a habit of, looking at my vehicle for any dings or anything that could go wrong, anything that's wrong with the wheels. And sure enough, when I walked outside, a damn big ass nail was sticking out the side of the front driver's tire. And it's funny because I was on my way to going for an oil change, call myself trying to be productive and get up early and all that, and now I end up at the tire shop. So I'm waiting on them to get done with that. And then, of course, once I get done with that, then I'm going to go get my oil changed. And then I will be moving on with my day as I was scheduled to do. So, and you know what's funny is, like, I can't tell if it's like a big ass nail or a small nail. But the funny thing is, when I had them look at it, even if it was a small nail, it's literally like in the most dangerous place on the tire, which is kind of like on the brim. Like it's not inside the tire, but it's like it's on the corner. It's on the corner of the tire. Like it's like sticking out diagonally, and that's like the most dangerous place for a nail to be in your tire. So I'm getting that replaced right now. So I'm not driving around here. I'm not driving around here hazardly, waiting for something to happen. And it's in a place that they can't even. They could put a patch on it, but if they put a patch on it, then the patch eventually is gonna come off quickly, like within a couple days. And you know what's funny, right? You know what's funny? So for me, right? Because I just actually had to bring my car in. I think like last month, but for a different issue. For a different tire, right? And it was I forget what was going on with the tire, man, because I be I'm the kind of person that once you tell me what's wrong with once you tell me what's wrong, I just pay for it, and I just want you to fix it quickly, because when you have a car, things are gonna go wrong, But it's funny because, like, they have all of this like new technology. They have all this new technology, and I'm like, isn't this new technology supposed to make the job quicker? I know how to change tires and all of that kind of stuff, right? I used to work for BMW back in the day, not the actual dealership, the actual manufacturing plant where BMWs are produced and manufactured, right? Back in Spartanburg, South Carolina, right? I was probably 17. I think I was 17, 18, about to graduate high school. And let me tell you about that job, right? I actually was not supposed to be working that job technically, but I technically could legally work that job because I was 17, right? As a full-time employee. So my senior year of high school, I I I did not, when you get to a senior and you complete all your classes, right? You can go to school for half a day. So what I would do was I would go to school for half a day and work I would work third shift. And I didn't even have to go to school every day. I only had to go to school Monday through, I think it was Monday through Thursday or Monday through Wednesday. And it really depends on state to state, because I know here in Arizona you can't do that here, because I'm from South Carolina originally. So they different, I guess you could say, things apply to different school districts and stuff like that. So I would actually go to school during the day, take my 2 or 3 classes, go home, uh, get some sleep, and then me and my homeboy, we both worked at the plant together. So I was literally 17 working full time at BMW at nights, and man, it was so much crazy stuff. It wasn't like nothing too crazy, but all I'm gonna say is this, right? At BMW, the men and the women shared a locker room. So when we would come in, we would put some people will put on their suits. We had to wear like these special paint suits, or to protect us from the polyvinyl chloride, the PVC, because that's what we were working around. So we had to wear that. But the locker room at BMW was a unisex locker room. So you had some guys like me at home. What I would do is I would just come in. I would already be dressed at home. I would just be having on some sweatpants and a t-shirt, and then when I get there, I just put on my little zip-up suit, and then I just go out on the floor. Whereas you had some people, right, who was taking off some clothes in the locker room. So, and like I said, it was a unisex, and man, I was involved with a beautiful young shorty. Man, she was gorgeous, man. Short, black chick, kind of had like short hair by choice. She cut it. Yeah, it was a beautiful romance, man. But that's neither here nor there. That is neither here nor there. Y'all didn't come here. Um, y'all didn't come here to hear about Zone's, romance, love life, and all that. You know what I'm saying? Y'all came to hear me talk about whatever I want to talk about. But anyway, um, so I had to, in order to get into that job, right? I had to you have to know how to change tires, right? And you have to be able to change tires um, at a quick pace, right? I think it's like you have to. It was something crazy. You had to learn how to change a tire in like 30 seconds or less, right? And we didn't have like an air wrench. Oh, what's going on, the Bell 5000? Salute. But at this job at BMW, right? This all ties into what I'm talking about, like with my car, right? So at the job, we didn't have an air wrench. They gave us an old school wrench, and they gave us about 30 tires, and we had to take a written test. So so they're not hiring dummies, um, so that they could actually tell that a little something about cars, right? So we had to take a written test, and then after the written test, then we had to go and we had to change. I think it was like 30 tires in a rack, and they gave us a 4-way wrench, and we had to change a certain number of tires in a certain amount of minutes, right? Under a certain amount of minutes. Now, obviously, if you didn't pass the test, you didn't get the job. If you passed the test, if you passed the written test and you failed the tire test, you didn't get the job. If you fail the written test and you fail the tire test, not only did you not get the job, but you couldn't apply for the job again, right? Because they didn't want to waste time on applicants reapplying and stuff like that. So obviously, you know, not to toot my own horn or anything, but I've talked about this previous and numerous times that, you know, my stepfather, who I don't really call my stepfather, I call him my other dad, but for the context of the live stream, you know, I'm just saying my stepfather. You know, he taught me and my brother how to do work with our hands young, because, you know, he was a street guy. So he was not an academic. What's going on, Cynical One? Thank you for coming through. Make sure y'all hit that like button when y'all come in the live stream for a player from the Himalaya. It's the holidays, so people wanna come out. Nah, I'm just playing. I'm not a player from the Himalaya. That's Raj Will. That's Raj Will. Raj Will is the player from the Himalaya. Raj Will say he a big player. He a big time player. But anyway, so my stepfather, he taught me and my brother, you know, how to do a lot of work with our hands. You know, he taught us, you know, the right, believe it or not, the right technique of chopping firewood. There's a certain form, there's a certain way that you even have to chop wood so that you don't mess up your back, and so that you don't mess up your bicep. You know, because when you chop wood, you're chopping wood for a long time. And obviously one of the things my stepfather taught me and my brother was cars. You know, that was something that we did back in the day. You know, he would bring home an old car, and you know, me and my brother would watch him, and we would hold the light, you know, while he was listening to Tupac or you know, R. Kelly, or, you know, whatever, or Maxwell, or whatever choice of music he wanted to listen to, right? And it was funny because I can remember me and my brother being young and little, and we would want to go play Xbox and PlayStation. And, you know, my step pops was like, "Don't you move, hold that damn light." You know what I'm saying? And he would not let us go. Like, so, you know, I appreciate him all these years later, because, you know, we just don't understand how important it is for young men to be able to do things with their hands, and for men in general to do things with their hands, right? So my point in saying everything that I'm saying right now, and I hope the volume sounds okay, because it's a lot of traffic and all that, and obviously I'm in a safe neighborhood, right? Otherwise I wouldn't be talking. But you know, you want to know what's funny is, you know, a lot of people on YouTube swear they're getting so much money, right? But they don't never want to go out. They don't never want to show. They don't never want to show, you know, their neighborhoods and things like that. But I'm gonna keep it real. Like, you know, every time you guys have seen me go live, I've always been in a nice neighborhood. Why? Because I live in a nice area, any area, right? And that's because I would rather, you know, like when I say, you know, like nice suburban area, you know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't no It ain't no you know, no hood ghetto stuff, because I would rather spend, I would rather, I would rather have the car that's 20 years old, which my car ain't 20 years old, but I would rather have the older car in the nicer neighborhood than a newer car and a bum, broken down neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? And yeah. But anyway, so with with all this technology right now, keep in mind, when I used to work at BMW, this was let me see, I graduated 2006. So this would have been like 2000, I'll say 2005, right? 2005 is when I 2000 around 2005, 2006 is when I started working at BMW, right? So here we are, and I used to, and with no air wrench, right? No, no air wrench. Um, a regular manual four-way wrench, right? I used to change tires left and right, you know, on. Um, but it's funny because when you take your car to one of these places, right? You know, they use all these fancy techniques, and I'm just like, just change the tire. You know, like they want to give you all these readings and you know, talk about the tread level. And I mean, you could look at you could look at a tire, right, and you could see whether it needs to be changed or not. You know, so I come from I come from the era where, you know, I have sense of urgency. You know, I don't want you to spend all day, you know, giving me the readings. And I apologize about that, sun, y'all. You know, I live in Arizona, so even in the wintertime, which today is like the second or third day of winter. Even, oh man, and cynical one, oh man, Lord have mercy. Y'all pray for cynical one, because I don't know where she is, but where she is like 16 degrees. I could never live anywhere where it gets lower than 60 consistently in the wintertime. Like I'm, you know, I'm not bred for that. I'm sorry. Now I'm gonna be honest. I could deal with it if I had to, but I don't want to deal with it. You know, my family be trying to get me to come back home during the holidays. They be trying to get me to come back east. You know, some of my family in New York, some of my family's in South Carolina, and then well, the biggest bulk of my family is in South Carolina, and then the other biggest bulk of my family is in Florida, because you know, as you know, my family comes from the Caribbean, so they, you know, that's what they do, is they come from Trinidad, and you know, they either move to New York or they move to Florida, the hot spots, you know, for the Caribbeans and the Latin folk. But I'm out here in Arizona. You know what I'm saying? I ain't doing none of that. I'm out here in the west, y'all. What's going on, XL Pro? Oh, and you know what? I'm gonna do a live stream about that, since I brought that up. I'm gonna do a live stream about it. You know, this whole conversation, you know, about Fat Joe and his derogatory. I don't want to say derogatory, but you know, his comments on you know, FBAs. You know, the funny thing is, you know, yes, me personally, yes, I'm Trinidadian. Yes, my father is Trinidadian. But one thing that he did do, I'm gonna tell you guys this right now. Caribbean men love foundational black women, foundational black American women. They do. They really do. They really do. And I'm gonna be, and this might come as a shocker to you guys, but I was raised in a Caribbean household, right? This is just my perspective, my point of view. I could be wrong. I think that Caribbean men actually love foundational Black American women more than their own Caribbean women for a myriad of reasons. So with that being said, yes, my father, I'm putting it out there because, you know, next thing you know, they're going to be trying to say Zone is a tether. Zone is a tether. He's a tether. He's an infiltrator. He's an imposter. No, 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 no. My father's Trinidadian and my mom is FBA. Now, me and my mother don't have the best relationship, but thank God for allowing me to come from an FBA womb. So that is one of the best things that she could have ever did, was push me out of that FBA womb. You feel me? So yeah, my mom is FBA. So I got the best of I got the best of both black worlds, you know. Can't nobody, my blackness can't be questioned. You feel me? But anyway, so I before I got sidetracked with that, I brought up, you know, and on top of that, it ain't like, and I promise I'm gonna get back to what I was saying, right? And on top of that, right, not only am I the best of blackness, right? Because I don't got no problem being black. I've never called myself, you know, oh, I'm not black, I'm Trinidadian, man, because that's not my life experience. I was raised around black people, point blank, period. And in the eyes of white supremacy, in the eyes of the law, you know what I mean? They don't care if my last name is Johnson or Smith. But I'll say this though. I will say this though. I do have my name is actually, I do have a Hispanic name though. I'll say that. Because people got to understand where Trinidad is located. Trinidad is actually located off the coast of South America. Trinidad is actually located off the coast of Venezuela. So there is a lot of Latin and West Indian and African influence in that particular area. You see? So, yeah. But anyway, so every time the popo pull me over and they look at my ID, they be like, this nigga a tether and an illegal. Arrest him. No, officer, it's me. I just have that's just my name, and I'm a brown black man. You feel me? But anyway, yeah, I think it's dumb. I think it's dumb when people, when black people, you know, try to get away from this. I'm not black, I'm Trinidadian. I'm not black, I'm Jamaican. I'm not black, I'm Ethiopian. I'm not black, I'm Niger. No, sir. No, ma'am. Because in the eyes of white supremacy, yes, I'm saying that out loud as I walk through this residential neighborhood, because I don't care, because number one, this is not their land. Number two, my people were here first. Definitely not Zone Gomez. Although I will say the bell. I've definitely knocked a few chicks' backs in out here that have the last name Gomez. You know, I definitely have, and they could have been related. I don't know, but I definitely have knocked a few backs in, um, of these chicks that have the last name Gomez. So, so if your last name is Gomez and you happen to be a chick in Arizona, and you got a little brown baby that I ain't, never mind. Just forget I said all that. Anyway, uh, anyway, but okay, so back to the point that I was making. Um, what I miss the good old days where you used to be able to look at a tire or look at whatever the problem was on a vehicle and fix it. I don't what's up with all this like scanning and all of this scanning and all of these levels and this, that, and the third. I'm just like, y'all are wasting time. Like, do you not see how many people are standing in line behind me? Like I already showed you where the nail was. All you need to do is just take the tire off and put a new tire on. Simple and plain. Like, stop wasting time. Like, I would think that the invent of technology would actually make the job easier, would make the job faster. But no, you little nerds, you come into these places and you want to use all of these fancy tools and you want to waste everybody's time. I don't got time to be wasting. I could have already had my oil changed and been on my way. But no, I have to let them do their little silly scans and all the charging for a damn diagnosis when back in the day all you had to do was hook the little machine up inside the car and it gives you the diagnosis code and then you can go from there. Man, my last vehicle, I ended up giving my previous vehicle that I had to my brother because he's in college. And do you know this little ninja went and traded in that car for a Benz? I'm like, y'all are spoiled, man. Y'all are spoiled, man. But anyway, and he's in college too. And I'm just like, are you like, and see, that's one thing about my father, right? So, y'all know the first child. They say the first child, that's the accident child, right? Now, everything that I learned about finances, I actually learned on my own, despite my father being very successful financially. I learned on my own, and I also watched him from afar. And I would also listen to him when he would inadvertently tell me things, right? My brother, on the other hand, he just is like, which, I mean, hey, he is just living life, He goes to ASU. He's a sophomore at ASU, Arizona State University. He's about to go to Japan, I think, right after Christmas here. And he got him a Benz, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, Ninja, if I would have known you was gonna trade the car in, I would have never gave it to you. I traded it in because the payments were low, and it was damn near a brand new car, and really didn't need much work. But anyway, that car that I had, right? That car that I gave to him, I will say this. Even though it didn't really need much work at all, I bought the car when it was damn near brand new. Um, the thing about it is that they make these newer cars now so that you have to take it to the dealership. Like for the slight, everything is electronic. They're starting to get away from a lot of used to be able to just go under the hood and you know replace a spark plug and put in a new one, or change the battery, without having any complications to other parts of the vehicle. And it's like now when you try to do all that yourself, you end up you either end up like doing something wrong, or you end up messing up another part of the car, because they are making these cars so technologically advanced now that you have no choice but to take it to a shop. You know what I'm saying? XL Pro says, I'm the youngest. I understand. 3 brothers, 2 sisters. Oh, so you can relate to my little brother, XL Pro? Or you can relate more to what I'm saying? um, but yeah, man, I really can't stand that, man. That really just, that really annoys me when, I have to go. And I know for a fact it's a simple fix, because anytime when it comes to cars, right, I always do the research, myself, to see, okay, how much is the labor going to be? How much are the car parts? Stuff like that. Who got the lowest price? Does AutoZone have the lowest price, or does Advanced Auto Parts have the lowest parts for the price? But typically I end up, even if there are other places that that have lower prices, I typically always end up going to AutoZone anyway for whatever parts I need, just because AutoZone, one thing about AutoZone is a lot of their parts, they have really long warranties. Sometimes they even have lifetime warranties. So, really makes no sense to go anywhere else. But, like I said, what I'm saying, a lot of these cats be talking about, oh, I got money, but, do their neighborhoods look like this? Do their neighborhoods look like this, where they actually got sidewalks and trees? And, oh, there's a cactus tree. I live in Arizona, so people have cactuses everywhere. But, yeah, I just, because people say they have, so much money, but, and I'm not saying that people have to show, but I'm not one of these people who, likes to brag about certain things. I'm just like, if you have a 2025 Ferrari sitting in your driveway, but you live in a piece of crap rinky-dinky neighborhood, don't you think you have your priorities? Guys, let me tell you, I was literally driving. So what I do for a living, right? I ain't gonna tell you everything, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't want the popo. I'm just playing. I'm just playing. I don't do nothing illegal. But long story short, I look at buildings and I inspect properties. I make sure for corporate companies like Macy's and Dillard's and all of these places, typically I go, I work nights, because when you're doing audits and things like that, actually I work 24/7, but I work mostly nights. But you want to work mostly nights because you don't want to give people the opportunity to try to clean up some nonsense that's not supposed to be going on. So I be out lurking, going to these properties, taking pictures, making sure signs work, making sure these buildings are up to code with certain things, stuff like that. And it's a relatively easy job, and it pays decent, pretty decent, but it's very tedious. So if you miss something, and then that property goes through an inspection, and they fail or they get too many violations, you could lose your job as an independent contractor, because that's what they paying you all this money for, right? So I don't know why I mentioned that. I don't even know why I brought that up. But I'm getting old, y'all. But I need to start back taking fish oil. But anyway, man, what I was about to say is I was driving through this apartment complex the other day, right? Like literally like probably 3 or 4 days ago. And the apartment complex wasn't in a bad part of town. It wasn't a ghetto raggedy apartment complex. But I'm driving by and I see a Bentley. Parked in a shaded parking space. Now I'm guessing that they live there because, typically with most properties, only residents can park in shaded parking. I literally see a Bentley. That's what, a $200,000 car, something like that. And I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, why do you have that vehicle sitting unprotected? Anybody can do anything to it, and sitting in this apartment complex. If you can spend that much money on a vehicle like that, then you can go get you a better place to live. Now you might have to downgrade your car, because I could only imagine if it's not paid off, the payments are probably ridiculous on that. But I started to record it and take a picture and post it on my IG and all that, but I was like, nah, I ain't gonna be, recording people's personal property and all that and putting it online, and but yeah, man, like it's just insanely crazy to me, man. And yeah, man, so yeah, but that I just wanted to come on and I wanted to rant about that, because I'm just like, man, like if I was a young man still, which I'm still relatively young, I would do it myself, but I just don't be wanting to do no car work no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just would rather pay for it and get it over with. Let me see, the bell says he might have been the owner of those apartments. You absolutely right. You absolutely right, the bell. He might have been the owner of those apartments. Listen, it could be one of three things. He might be the owner, but here's the thing, the bell. I've been to this property before, and I've never seen, and I've been going to this property now for years now, and I've never seen that vehicle there. So he could be the owner. He could be the owner. He could be a resident, or because it is wintertime, and Arizona has a humongous population of snowbirds. I mean, I'm talking about the traffic is so bad now, yeah, because people forget. People who live in the Northeast and the Northwest, a lot of them go down south. A lot of them travel down south. If they're not going to Florida, they're going to the Bahamas. If they're not going to Southern Cali, they're coming to Arizona. So right now we have a lot of snowbirds, and traffic is crazy, especially with the holiday traffic. So It could be the owner of he could be the owner of the apartments. He could be a resident, or he could be a snowbird that probably took the car out of storage, and you know what I mean. Maybe he's temporarily renting an apartment in that complex. This Ninja the Bell, or it could be a sugar daddy. Hey, it could be a sugar daddy attending one of his sugar babies. It could be. You know what I'm saying, man? Don't hate the player, hate the game. It could be. It definitely could be. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man. And whether you're watching the stream live or recorded, make sure you hit that like button, and make sure you hit that subscribe button if it's in your heart. You know, you don't have to, but I sure would appreciate it if you did. If you do, but yeah, man. How y'all doing though, man? What y'all y'all got any plans for the holidays? I don't got no plans for the holidays. I'm just chilling, man. Like, the funny thing is, like, I used to, when I was younger, like in my 20s and stuff like that, I used to go back home almost every holiday. I used to go back to South Carolina every holiday, almost every holiday, whether it was Thanksgiving, Christmas, or New Year's. But, you know, as I got older, I realized, like, when I would go back home, I would see some of my friends, like, posting. You know, this was when Facebook was really, really popping. I would see some of my friends back here in Arizona posting, you know, some of these parties and some of these outings they were at. You know what I mean? They all wearing shorts and short sleeves. Meanwhile, I'm in South Carolina, got on pants and got on a coat and a hat because, you know, it's 40 degrees. Believe it or not, it gets cold in South Carolina. Like, now, obviously, it doesn't get New York cold or Pennsylvania cold, but it gets cold down in South Carolina in the winter, man. Cold enough where you can see your breath when you talk. That's cold enough for me. And then it dawned on me, like, Ninja, you know how many people would love to spend the holidays on the West Coast where we got the best weather? I ain't coming back. So I told my family, I ain't coming back. Y'all gonna have to start coming over here. Y'all gonna have to start planning to spend either the whole month of December over here, or at least the first half of January over here. But they can't come over here right now because I got to get a new house. I got to get a new house, though, because I don't have enough room for them right now. You know what I'm saying? My old house is gone. It's gone, man. So, but I got to get a new house so that I can have the space I need to host visitors when they come into town, you know. So next year, probably not next year 2025. Probably, I mean, it could be next year, but right now I'm probably planning on 2026 to get a new house. And I'm not sure if I want to rent or buy. Not sure if I want to rent or buy. But here's what I will say. Here is what I will say. And this is not financial advice. This ain't financial advice. This is just financial information that I believe may be beneficial to someone. This is not financial advice. So don't be like, Zone told me to. No, I ain't tell you to do nothing. You took your ass Anyway, uh, I would say these next 4 years is going to be a good time to buy. And I say that because when I got my first house in 2017, it was under the Trumpster. That's right. That's right. When I got my first house in 2017, which, you know, he was well into his first year of the presidency, that's when I got my approval. Well, at that time, myself and my daughter's mother, that's when we got our approval for our first house. 3 bedrooms. I mean, I watched that house be built from the ground up. 3 bedrooms. And it was crazy. And you know what? This is what I will say as well, right? Like stop, you know. And I get it, man. If you want to stunt and all of that, that's fine, man. Because I know, you know, we come from we're a flashy culture now. You know, we like to stunt when we got money. We like to stunt when we got on a fresh outfit. You know, we like to stunt when we wash the whip or we just got a new whip. It's cool. It's cool. But listen, so before I got the house, right, we were living in a luxury apartment. Myself, my daughter's mother, and my daughters, right? We were living in a luxury apartment, right? Brand new. I watched that apartment be built from the ground up. And when they finished building it, we was in that bitch. So I was the first one to be in that apartment. Have y'all ever had a time in your life where you were the first one to live somewhere that no one else lived? You know what I'm saying? You was the first one to flush the commode. You know what I'm saying? I know that's TMI, but shit, I'm just keeping it real. You know what I'm saying? First one to turn on the water faucet. First one to, you know, fuck on the kitchen counter. I mean, you know, first one to, you know, cook in the kitchen. You know, first one to do all that. I was, you know what I mean? We was the first one, right? The first one. We were the first ones to do that, to move into that apartment. Literally, when we went to go look at the apartment, when we were living in a previous apartment, you guys know the funny thing? The funny thing is that the apartment, because you know when you go look at apartments, they give you a tour around the property. You know, you see the pool area, the bark park for the dogs and all that if you have dogs. But you know the funny thing about all that is the apartment that they ended up showing us, right, was the apartment that we ended up moving in. Now, keep in mind, it was only, you know, they're just showing you a layout of what you're going to be moving into, right? But it just so happened, and we didn't know, you know, we didn't know. Once we filled out the application, we got approved, and then we got our apartment number. It was literally the exact apartment that we had toured, that we had looked in. And so that was a brand new apartment that nobody else had lived in. It was a brand new complex. Residency wasn't even 10% when we moved in there. So we were one of the first people to move in there. And so then fast forward. So then 2016 rolls around, and prices. This is when Barack was in office, right? So people have to understand that when Barack was in office, he was trying to fix the financial crisis of '07, '08, and throughout his presidency, it was, interest rates were fluctuating. Long story short, so we put in an application for a house when Barack Obama was in office, and we got denied because credit at that point in time wasn't bad, but it wasn't exactly high enough to get what we were looking for, and had a little bit too much student loan debt at that particular time. Your debt to income ratio is something that is taken very seriously. So if you're listening to this and you're trying to get a house in 2025, make sure you work on your debt to income ratio. Now, you can still get a house with a high debt to income ratio. It just might not be what you're looking for, and it might not be in the best parts of town, but you'll still get a house. Anyway, so Barack leaves office, and Donald Trump comes into office, and so we go through the process. We go through the process again, of looking for a house, because now we're coming up towards the end of our lease, right? So lo and behold, we went through the process. Oh, and here's another thing too, right? If you're looking for a house, right? This is why networking is important. Get with people that know about real estate. Get with brokers, because here's what happens. Sometimes when you go directly through these banks to get a loan for your home, you don't have any pull when it comes to the terms and conditions of your house. You're going off, the bank is saying, this is how much you're approved for, this is your APR, your annual percentage rate, and we expect you to pay this over 20 or 30 years, depending on how long you are gonna you request on the loan, right? And or depending on the value of the home, I should say. And so you have to go off of those terms and conditions, see? But when you go through a broker, you see, a broker is not just going through Chase Bank, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, the major banks, right? A broker goes through hundreds, if not thousands of banks, because people don't understand that there are all kinds of financial lending institutions other than banks. So if you can, I recommend going through a broker and not just the regular traditional, the banking system, because a broker has the ability to pull some strings in the terms and conditions. I'll give you a prime example. When it comes to the down payment, we were at first the lending institution was requiring X amount of dollars for the down payment. We didn't have that, right? So we were going to pass on the offer. So the broker was able to pull some strings so that at the front end of the loan, we would pay, higher payments at the front end of the loan, lower the down payment, and, of course, refinance some years on into the loan. With a lot of traditional banks, you can't, like I said, you can't manipulate the terms and conditions up front. And see, with brokers, you can, because a lot of these lending institutions, especially when they come into people that actually have decent credit, good debt to income ratio, good stable history when it comes to renting and things like that. People don't understand that a lot of these institutions will fight. They will fight for your business, and you can't just be desperate and accept something just because you're trying to get into a house right away. No, you have to be patient, and you have to sit back and wait. But yeah, long story short, I was able to get my first house under Donald Trump, and I think that over the next 4 years is going to be a good time to buy as well. Because I believe that we're going to have a better economy. And if I got my first house under Trump, I know I can get my second and possibly even third. And my goal is to get about maybe 3 to 5 properties. Because rental properties are a good source of residual income. But the problem with that, right, is that a lot of people think that, oh, I need 10 to 15 properties. No, you actually need about 3 to 5 properties that you can maintain for a decent amount of time, and maintain that for 10, 15, 20 years. People tend to get into too much too soon. And yeah, but let me see if these people call me. They call me. Nah, they ain't called me yet. But yeah, man, so that's just some game, when it comes to buying houses and things like that, man. What's funny too, right, is and if y'all are watching live or recorded, please hit that like button and hit that subscribe button if it's in your heart. You feel me? You don't got to, but I would be thrilled if you did. Yo, what's funny too is that, like, when I be seeing these YouTubers and some of these live streamers that we watch talk about money and all that kind of stuff, a lot of these dudes be in their late 30s, early 40s, mid 40s, talking about, oh, I got this car. And the funny thing is, I did a lot of things that these guys talk about. I did that in my 20s, right? And I've shared this story numerous times. I am a music producer, and I used to work with record companies out in LA and stuff like that. And I was an in-house producer, and I used to make beats and write songs and get paid under the table. The only problem is that when it came to mechanical royalties, sorry about that, son, I'm trying to keep it out of the way. When it came to mechanical royalties, I did one of them nigga rig contracts because I was young and I didn't want my family all in my business. And come to find out, when my pops did find out that about the contracts that I had signed, he was very upset at me. And and that's how that happened. But during that time, when I was out in California, out in LA, I got to drive some of the most expensive cars. I got to go to some of the most lavish parties, and I'm not talking about no Diddy party. Diddy party. You ain't talking about no Diddy party. A Diddy party. Right, LeBron? Because LeBron over here talking about some, ain't no party like a Diddy party. A Diddy party. No party like a Diddy party. I ain't never been to no Diddy party. I have been to some rap and hip hop parties, but I ain't never been to no Diddy party. And I used to, my average checks used to be like 10,000. 8,000, 6,000. So imagine being, imagine being 21, 22, 23, 24. Imagine, doing that. And on top of that, I'm not really paying rent. I'm sleeping on couches and all that. So I would just pay some of the homies some money just to couch surf, so I have money because I was sending money back to Arizona, obviously for my daughter and all that. But yeah, the funny thing, and then it's funny because, now at the age I am now, 36, I don't regret none of that because without, and hey, I still got some of that money stashed up. So, and it's funny because, when my pops found out, about the bad contracts that I had signed, he helped me get out of that. And he took some of the money that I had coming in at that time and he put it away. So, it just, like I said, man, when you go through money like that, man, you look at money differently, and you just understand that money is a tool. You understand that money is a tool to help you live better. And living better doesn't mean sleeping with a bunch of women. It doesn't mean buying a bunch of cars. It doesn't mean wasting money on jewelry. Living better is not none of that. And at that point in time in my life, that's what I thought it was. But it wasn't. And you know what's funny? You guys know what's funny too? And I know I'm kind of rambling, but hey, this is my life. This is my experience. So who knows? Maybe after I'm dead and gone, this information might help somebody, That's really why I do these live streams. I don't really do them for the likes. I don't really do them for the subscribers, because you could have 1 million subscribers and still be a lame and still be a sucker and a trick, spending money on pussy because you ain't got no game. So I don't do none of that. I don't do this for the clout. Well, maybe a little bit. Everybody, if you got any type of social media page, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, yeah, you're doing it for the clout. You know what I'm saying? But there's a such thing as good clout and bad clout. And a lot of these motherfuckers, they do shit for the bad clout because they're nasty and messy and filthy. And they ain't really got no skills. And on top of that, even if you don't got no skills, you don't even have the mindset to sit down and think about how to get a better life for yourself, how to get a better life for your children. We got grown ass men in their 40s talking about they can't find a wife, talking about stuff like that. Meanwhile, I'm young over here at the time, in my 20s, right? With my daughter's mother. And, even though our relationship ran its course, we were together for well over a decade. probably like 12, 13 years, probably 14, something like that. Uh, you know, and although that was, we never got legally married, you know, I don't really go off of I don't really go off of this marriage certificate stuff. I don't really go off of that. But, you know, and the Bible says that, you know, once you're intimate with her, that's your wife. And then when you're no longer intimate with her, that's not your wife. So, you know, we got intimate, you know, had us a little family, and have not been intimate in years with her. Despite the advances that she done tried to come on to me and all that kind of stuff, you know, when I'm dropping my daughter off, all that, you know, it's in the past now. But, you know, I never succumbed to temptation, because one thing about me that I learned, right, was where a lot of dudes go wrong, because they still want to try to hit it. And when you still try to hit it, but at the same time, and when you are hitting it and you moving forward with your life, and she's seeing that you talking to different females, and, you know, she's seeing that you moving different, and, you know, and even if she not seeing the females that you have in your life, women know, they know when there's somebody else, and they can tell when there's somebody else. So that's when they get emotional. That's when they hit you with the child support. This is just my anecdotal experience. I know this experience is not all for one and one for all, but I'm just saying, a lot of dudes, that's where they mess up at. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't try to actually build a relationship with their daughter's mother, and you keep fucking her, but you keep talking to women, so eventually she is going to use the child against you at some point in time. She is going to use the child against you. It's inevitable. It doesn't matter how good of a guy you are, she is. So I knew that from the jump. So my goal after we split up was to show her that, look, you know, I'm not in love with you, but I have love for you, and I love our daughter, and I don't want us to be estranged, and I don't want to have arguments, and I don't want to do none of that. And I can still be a friend. You know what I'm saying? I can still be a friend, and we can be adults and keep it moving. Because think about this too, right? And I know people say, oh, Zone, that's so wonderful, and blah, 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 you're so mature. But look at it this way. Look at it this way, right? I live in Phoenix, right? I'm gonna tell you right now, there are no shortage of women here in Arizona where I am. You got black women, you got white women, you got Latin women, you got Asian. You even have African women here. There is no shortage of women here where I am, right? So why would I continue to mess with something that's done? Why would I, you know what I'm saying? Like, why would I do that when I know I have the capability to go out here and get some when I want some, and I don't have to trick to get it? You feel me? So and this is what I'm thinking in my head. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, my daughter's mother, she had a big fatty once upon a time. But what, you know what I mean? What, I could just go out and get a smash another big fatty. I don't gotta have hers. And this is where a lot of dudes be going wrong, man. You can't, you know what I mean? You got to be careful about you know, mixing the pleasure and the personal and pleasure part of life. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna just tell y'all the truth. I don't got the time to be paying no child support, and I don't got the money to be paying child support. So rather than that, I would just, let's be friends, okay? Anything my daughter needs, let me know. Let me know. You don't gotta worry about it. I got it. Anything she needs, just let me know. I got it. All right? You know, you can still call me. You know, we can still have conversations and all that kind of stuff. But I'm not trying to be intimate. You know what I'm saying? Like, and this is stuff I would say. I just always kept it 100. Like, and with all this so-called game that a lot of these guys be giving you, you know what I'm saying? Like, they act like you don't have to call women bitches and hoes in every other sentence. Although I do understand that, you know, some of these women are bitches and hoes do exist. You know, but not every woman is a bitch and a hoe. Some of the times, some of y'all dudes don't know when to leave her alone, and she ends up turning on you in the end. You made her like that because you wanted to be selfish after the relationship ended, which technically she don't owe you nothing after the relationship ended. And see, this is what I'm saying too, right? People have told me personally, that I'm cold because, you know, when I'm done in a relationship, or it could be a relationship, a romantic relationship, or it could even be a friendship, right? People have told me that I'm cold for not checking on people and, you know, this, that, and the third. But here's the thing, right? Once we go our separate ways, or we're no longer talking, and like I said, this could be for a romantic relationship, or this could be for a personal friendship, right? What I understand is I have to live my life because I only got so many days here. I only got so many years here. I only have so many minutes, so many hours here. So I don't have time in my personal life to keep trying to check on you and to keep trying to create some type of fantasy or fairy tale that doesn't exist, because I have to live my own life. These bills ain't gonna stop coming. You know what I'm saying? Like, my daughter always gonna need new clothes. She always gonna need new shoes. She's always gonna need money to go on field trips. She's always gonna need money to go to football games. She's always gonna need money to go to the skating ring with her friends. She's always gonna need money, want money to buy, you know, certain things. So my priorities are elsewhere. I got to put my own energy and my time in my own life. I cannot continue to put it in I can't contribute to your life and our thing if we're not rocking with each other, or we're not in a relationship. And the way that I am, you know what I'm saying? The way that I am wasn't even taught to me by nobody else. Now, did I get game from some of the older OGs like my step pops? Absolutely. But that was on some player shit. That was you know, that was on how to get girls. You know what I'm saying? But everything that I'm telling y'all is what I learned on my own, being out here in the world as a man, specifically a black man, right? And a man is a man, but we're not gonna act like the color of your skin in America doesn't play a part in either how difficult or how easy your circumstance is. So everything that I've learned is a lot of it is off of my own experiences, off of my own successes, my own failures, my own experiences, you know. So it ain't, and like I said, I know that like I'm not the most brash person. I'm not the most harsh person. I try not to use a lot of profanity when I speak. And, what I notice about a lot of guys is, when they do these shows, they think that if they speak proper or they, enunciate their words or, speak calmly and slowly. And, they think that the audience is going to look at them as a lame and soft. And so what? I don't have to do that to get my point across. If I have to curse and I have to yell and I have to do all of that to get my point across, then my point is never going to get across. There has to come a point in time where you have to, get to a certain level where you can say what you mean and mean what you say exactly how you say it. I'll give you a prime example, right? Now, I'm not throwing my daughter's mother under the bus. Maybe I am. I'm just kidding. I'm not throwing my daughter's mother under the bus, right? But, sometimes my daughter's mother doesn't have the best tone when she's talking to my daughter. And therefore, they always get into arguments. Sometimes she might be like, shut the hell up. If my daughter got a little attitude popping off at the mouth, she might be like, shut up, shut the fuck up, shut the hell up, right? Okay. Now, I might look at my daughter when she's being, a certain kind of way, and I'm gonna say, be quiet. And if I'm really feeling a kind of way towards her or something that she did, then I'm gonna look at her and I'm gonna say, you really need to shut up right now. You really need to shut up. Now, both of us said the same thing, but we said it in two different ways. You feel me? Because, and some people would say, oh, she listens to you more, or she listens to you better because I'm a man and her mom's a woman. But I disagree with that. I disagree with that because, and this is another anecdotal experience. I disagree with that because my cousins, right? My father's sister and my father's brother-in-law, which would be my uncle, they have 3 children, 2 boys, 1 girl. The majority of my life, my uncle was definitely a part of his children's lives, but he worked. His wife, my aunt, she did not work. Her primary job literally was to take care of the children, his 3 children. And she is an excellent mother and is still an excellent mother to this day. Shout out to my auntie, man. I have never seen her raise her voice. Granted, I wasn't there all the time, but I spent more than enough time in that house to be able to see everything I need to see. I have never seen or heard her raise her voice. And granted, she got 2 boys and 1 girl. So the boys, the boys are just going to fight and get into it regardless. But I've never seen her raise her voice. And her children gave her the utmost respect. And I've never seen my cousins raise their voice at my aunt, not one time. Not one time. you know. But that's my anecdotal experience. I just think that it has to do with, you know, the way that you say things, how you say things, and the most important thing, I'm trying to see if my car done. It's been over an hour. But anyway, the most important thing when it comes to that, right? When it comes to talking, and this is what I see from my own experience when it comes to guys online, especially the guys that talk about relationships, right? Mean what you say and say what you mean. Now, if somebody wants to challenge what you say, cool. Let them challenge what you say. But say what you mean and mean what you say. Stand on it. And with that being said, y'all, we are at the conclusion. We are at the conclusion of this live stream. So I hope you guys have a wonderful Christmas holiday if you are celebrating that. Even if you're not celebrating it, I still hope you have a joyous time of year this year. And if I don't do another live stream before the new year, which I got a feeling I will, because I do want to talk about this Fat Joe thing, you know, and what he said about FBAs, Foundational Black Americans. But if I don't speak to you guys before next year, I hope you guys have a great new year. Be safe. Don't be drinking and driving. Of course, make sure you hit the like button and the subscribe button if it's in your heart. You don't have to, but I would like for you to. You know, wear your condoms, strap up, wrap up. Don't play with your life, in the words of Mr. Goodbread. And of course, if I don't see y'all before the end of the year, have a safe, happy new year, a blessed one. May your 2025 be better than your 2024. And we're going to move forward. All right, so I appreciate y'all for watching. You can find me on Instagram, Zone864TV. And I will see y'all next time. All right? Peace.